fight was getting mentioned and talked about and, signed, I just felt like he just did a lot of fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. I just know, character take you a long way.
With Floyd Mayweather's recent misbehaviors, Terence Crawford has finally spoken about what really went wrong between him and Floyd Mayweather that has made the boxing legend repeatedly come for him. Crawford, in a new interview, said Floyd's funny actions towards him began shortly before his win against Canelo.
Using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he's in the limelight and stuff like that. But in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter, though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
But like his core personality and his way.
He normally would reach out before my fights and try to support me and stuff. But this time, I didn't hear from him, but guys that knew him were telling me that he wasn't a fan of the fight, and he didn't want me to win too, but I didn't pay attention. Then I saw how he reacted when he was asked about the fight, and I knew something was wrong.
Hey Floyd, what do you think about the fight, Crawford Mayweather? You said it's going to be a good fight. You think the winner should get Canelo?
Sir. We're saying about them right now.
And also, Crawford mentioned that it was Floyd who leaked the news that he had injuries in camp.
So you didn't go into that fight 100%, you think? I asked for no details.
No, not at all. No, I don't know when did I ever win in a fight. You know what I mean? But
and yeah, he also told the world about my injuries. I got to know he was the one that let that out. Of course, I wouldn't admit to that before the fight. Then I went into the ring, did my thing, and became champion. Y'all saw his bet. I wondered why he'd bet for me but not reach me or anything. But I'm not the kind of person to talk about what isn't out yet. According to Crawford, he ignored Floyd until Floyd began to call him out for a fight to prove who the real GOAT is. I don't get where the jealousy is from, because all I've ever been is a good friend and fan to him.
I had disliked a lot of things that he was saying, and how he was acting, being that, me, I'm a real individual. I just felt like, we was all cool at one point in time, and,
Why call me out then? Crawford revealed he was not 100% heading into the Canelo-Alvarez fight, as Crawford's win appears more impressive. Crawford beat Canelo via a unanimous decision to become undisputed at 168, also becoming the first male to be undisputed in 3 weight divisions, 140, 147, and 154. Prior to the fight taking place, there were rumors that originated from Floyd Mayweather, saying Crawford was dealing with a shoulder injury, with suggestions it was flaring up during his training camp. Crawford addressed the speculation, denying that he was suffering.
my elbows is hurting, my hands, my wrists, my neck, things like that. You gotta listen to your body and just say, all right, decompress. I'ma just chill out and let my body just do what it do.
I know you had a great camp, but brother, you finna be 38 soon, like in a day.
Damn! I'm hearing from a close source that Terence Crawford's shoulder that he had surgery on has been flaring up in camp. Apparently, it has been a lingering issue for the past 8 to 10 weeks and is being monitored closely.
If I take Floyd Mayweather in his absolute prime, and I take Manny Pacquiao in his absolute prime,
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd still beats him.
Floyd beat everybody.
You don't believe there is a guy at 140, 147 in the history of boxing that could have beat Floyd in his prime?
It'd be tough. Floyd, man, that boy, man, that's the GOAT, man. That boy bad.
What makes it, because, and I told people, I said, look at Floyd. I said, Floyd, it's not that he trains, it's his life. And from the very beginning, he's like, I want to be the best.
When I fought Canelo, I was 36 and Canelo was 23, around the same age. Some of these guys won world titles and was undisputed champion. I think, the Tank age, the young low champions. Canelo was 23 with 43 fights and 30 knockouts.
Where do I get a shoulder injury? I don't know. I think people come up with their own antics. Terence Crawford got a shoulder injury, Terence Crawford out of shape, Terence Crawford slow. They coming up with all kinds of stuff, Crawford said. Looking back, Crawford was unlikely to admit that he was suffering from something that would have boosted Canelo's camp.
There's rumors that you've got a shoulder injury. Do you have a shoulder injury or is that just rubbish?
Where I got a shoulder, I think people coming up with their own, antics. Terence Crawford got a shoulder injury, Terence Crawford out of shape,
Terence Crawford slow, Terence Crawford. Yeah, they coming up with all.
However, when he was asked about his condition heading into the fight, Bud told Andre Ward he was not 100%. I had a lot going on in camp. I was dealing with injuries too. I didn't go into the fight 100%. Not at all. You're not never going to go into camp and come out 100% healthy. And a lot of people are asking me, how did I feel? Man, I had a lot going on in camp. This fight, the last fight, the fight before. Like, injuries too. Injuries too, Crawford stated.
Here too, couple days, right? How was that last camp you just had?
It was great.
I know it was great. Well, did you feel different at 37?
A little bit, yeah.
You had no bumps and bruises?
Man, we always got bumps and bruises.
I'm saying bumps and bruises at 37.
Man, I had bumps and bruises at 27. You know what I mean?
The news that Terence Crawford was not 100% magnifies the impressive nature of his victory. The first difficulty was the monumental challenge of jumping 2 weight classes to face the undisputed king. In addition, a shoulder injury directly compromises the mechanics for generating power, the endurance needed to maintain a high punch rate, and to keep a high, solid defensive guard. For Crawford to perform a masterclass, neutralizing Canelo's body attack and outlanding him consistently while concealing the potential vulnerability of his shoulder highlights his mental fortitude.
Are you feeling the difference in power now you moved up and you're at your natural weight?
Of course, of course. You know, the power is definitely going to come with it, you know, so that's not any worries that I ever had to have.
Terence, what excites you the most about this challenge on Saturday night?
Shutting everybody up.
And what does this feel like to you, Terence? We normally don't come in an arena and see you booed the way that you were today. How excited are you to shut everybody up?
Hey, man, it happens.
It silences critics who might have downplayed the win by suggesting Canelo was washed or simply had a bad night after Canelo's own news that he will have shoulder surgery after the Crawford loss. Interestingly, it was also the same case for Canelo Alvarez, who has been said to have battled an injury in the fight. The news that the Mexican will undergo elbow surgery has reignited the debate over whether the injury was a decisive factor in the fight or whether it is simply a matter of looking for excuses in the face of a legitimate defeat, a defeat that for many is considered to be the most painful for the Mexican boxer, both because of the current stage of his career and because of what was at stake.
If you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
According to recent reports, Canelo Alvarez will undergo surgery to treat an elbow injury that will keep him out of the ring for 5 to 6 months. The recovery puts his schedule on hold, as he still has commitments signed under the Riyadh season contract, which includes at least 2 more fights. The Mexican had already dealt with physical problems in the past. After the trilogy against Gennady Golovkin, he underwent wrist surgery, returning in 2023 to defend his place as one of the great icons of boxing.
You know, how did that feel to hear that from someone like him?
I just was like, well, you know, it's his personal opinion. He was in the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, you know, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. You know, one where he felt like he was at the best.
Terence Crawford's victory was overwhelming, as he dominated much of the fight at Allegiant Stadium and consolidated his status as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters today. However, the announcement of Canelo's surgery opened the door for some fans to question the result. For some fans, the Mexican's lack of punches could be explained by the elbow discomfort. Comments circulated on social networks such as, well, that explains why he wasn't throwing a lot of punches. Others, however, point out that Crawford won cleanly, and that using the injury as an argument is to detract from a round performance by Bud.
When you look at these fights, you know, especially coming up, you gotta be realistic. You gotta, you know, say, all right, you know, how big is this dude really is? Because David Benavidez, he could fight his ass off, you know. But me personally, I believe that
Crawford against Mayweather, right? How do you think a fight between both of them turn out?
If Mayweather gets hit with Crawford like I hit him and rocked, it might not end well for Mayweather. They might be over it. But Mayweather could outbox Crawford, I think, because Crawford has the mindset that I'm trying to knock you out, and Mayweather knows how to play to that I'm trying to knock you out type of thing. because he's used to people coming at him trying to hit him hard all the time.
The big question now is how Canelo will return after the operation. Some believe he should take a tune-up fight before facing an elite opponent again. Others believe that after so many years at the highest level, it might be time to think about retirement. Terence Crawford is enjoying the top of the mountain. His victory over Alvarez not only consolidated him as a benchmark, but also opened the conversation about how far his legacy can go.
Like I am now.
How do you beat Floyd, though? Like, since nobody's been able to crack that code.
You think I would tell you?
He ain't fighting anymore. So that fight ain't gonna happen.
You gotta have.
Crawford took a major risk by jumping up 2 weight classes to challenge Canelo for his undisputed super middleweight belts. And given that this fight was broadcast on Netflix in front of millions of fans, there was a chance that Crawford could have suffered a knockout loss, which would have been a critical blow to his reputation and his legacy. Instead, Crawford produced an upset and secured a unanimous decision victory. This made him the first male boxer to become an undisputed champion in 3 different weight classes.
When I looked at it, he came out in the southpaw stance and he took Canelo's jab away from him. As you know, if you take a fighter's jab away from them, then it's hard for them to really land. You force them to use one shot, and he forced them to use his backhand, his rear hand. Crawford was ready for the loop in the right hands.
With this victory, Crawford has cemented himself as one of the greatest boxers of his generation and arguably one of the top fighters of all time. And since Crawford is at his peak, and just turned 38 years old, there has been a lot of speculation about whether he is going to fight again or if he's content to sail off into the sunset and retire. There's a case to be made for both options. For one, Crawford has nothing left to prove or accomplish in the sport, and he would be risking his now immaculate legacy if he were to enter the ring again. On the other hand, Crawford would be leaving a ton of money on the table if he hung up the gloves, especially if he were to rematch Canelo.
His speed, his power, his punch placement, his IQ, the way that he went about boxing. He's a hooper. I like to play basketball. He fish. I like to fish.
Nobody knows what direction Crawford will go. In fact, Crawford doesn't even know, which he revealed when speaking with the great Andre Ward during a September 30th episode of the All the Smoke Fight podcast. When Ward asked Crawford what was next for him, he said, "I'm chilling, man. Like, to be honest, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I said, everything is up in the air right now. I'm just enjoying my family, enjoying to be able to say, look what I accomplished."
Attention, a little bit of online beef. We saw Roy Jones here, you know, him and Floyd Mayweather getting after it. Just what are your thoughts? I know you watch it because I can see the smile on your face.
That's 2 uncles, man, going at it, man. I don't know what to say. I'm, you know, I don't even know how to feel about it. I mean, I do know this. They're fighters, and you know, entertainers and fighters, they're sensitive about their work.
"I'm just chilling right now. I haven't even got the time to sit down with my team and talk with them and things like that," he continued. "I talked with my family and I know what my family wants. But it's a team effort." He later added, "You've got to have strong will, because a lot of things are going to be thrown at you, but it's up to you to know what's right and what's wrong." Mayweather has long set the standard in the sport, a benchmark that few have approached. Yet in recent years, Bud Crawford has been slowly creeping his way into the picture. In August 2024, Crawford captured a world title in a 4th weight division, outpointing Israel Madrimov over 12 rounds at BMO Stadium in Los Angeles to claim the WBA junior middleweight crown. The triumph extended Crawford's remarkable pattern of seizing world titles immediately upon ascending to new weight classes.
A lot of the stuff that Canelo was doing, and you know, that I would say this, that work from Boots helped in that aspect because Canelo was reacting to a lot of the counters that Crawford was throwing. Usually in the past, you know, Canelo would stand right there. He would lunge and he would stay in place, keep his feet in place.